Alright, cocksuckers, welcome back to practicing portraits, right? An artwod roadmap. Um, yes, that's my intro. Draw along, right? What are we doing? We're looking at a portrait reference. Artwod is the greatest platform of all time to learn drawing from imagination. Drawing from imagination. Excuse my accent, but what am I saying? What the fuck is this intro? Whatever. Looking at a portrait, turning into a sphere, and then turning it into a mask or a helmet. Sorry, right? The sphere is comprised inside of a box. The sphere has contour lines, center lines, vertical and horizontal. I wonder when I'm gonna stop fucking up saying center lines and contour lines and just say the right one. But yeah, whatever. Draw along with me. Draw along with me. Whatever bullshit. Right? These videos don't really mean anything to you, the audience, right now, because I'm not great yet, right? But it will have merit as I continue to just diddle my way to success. So yeah, draw along. For those of you who know, draw along. For those of you who are curious, like who the fuck is this guy? Why should I give him any more attention? I will be one of the greatest artists of all time. Or I'll die trying, right? So either way, I will accomplish a lot. Purely through effort, which is what I encourage you to put forth as well. Effort, right? We focus on fundamentals. We focus on, as you can see, box, 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 everything inside the grid, right? If that doesn't mean anything to you, get the fuck off my channel, watch every video, and keep me on the background. Give me that retention. Like and subscribe. Thank you. So with that being said, okay, so the portrait reference I'm looking at right now is a difficult one because it's a dude's head, and it's the back of his head. It's the back of his head. That's the portrait, and he's looking away, right? If I were to explain what I see right now, I think like his eyes like here, his jaws here. It's kind of like this, right? This is kind of, and then this is the back of his head, right? That's kind of, that's the nose. Like that's basically what I'm seeing, right? That's the ear. So now I just got to figure out, okay, like what is the perspective? Well, clearly just from this description, I think we can understand that this is the box, right? Like this is the box that we're looking at. So while I'm looking at this reference, I am in fact trying to project a box onto this portrait, right? Onto this head. We are trying to project spatial reasoning logic, right? I.e. the box, the simplest form, onto his head. And then we're trying to put a sphere inside of that box. And now I'm trying to put center lines, horizontal and vertical, inside that sphere, inside that box. If this sounds very difficult, it absolutely is. And it should be very strenuous for your brain, which is where you are learning. That's where the thinking and the drawing actually comes in. So yeah, as always, I'll keep saying that shit over and over, but drawing is thinking. If you're not thinking while you're drawing, you're not drawing, you're fucking around, you're doodling, right? You're not learning, okay? I equate drawing practice with doing my best to learn and to practice and to consistently reinforce my fundamentals of spatial reasoning, which truly is the most important fundamental, right? So yes, yes, yes. Oh, actually, line. Oh, actually, my butthole. All right, it's fucking spatial reasoning. You understand me? Anyways, you probably won't. Not until I'm goated, anyways. I've kind of just come to terms with that. People won't give a shit until I'm just really good. And by then, it won't matter, because your opinion won't matter, right? It will be people mostly trying to be like, wow, maybe I should have listened to this. Maybe I should have taken it more seriously. Maybe I should have put in as much effort as he encouraged me to do. Maybe I should have given him money. That I will always encourage you. That and I'll never take that back. Please continue. Links in description. Patreon, Ko-fi, right? Seriously, though. Give me money. Please give me money. It always pays to be polite. Anyways, as I'm talking, by the way, I'm not just fucking around. I'm literally trying to see this box. It's very difficult, again, because talking and drawing and talking and thinking is a skill, right? Every word I speak is an impediment. It's a fucking detriment. It's a goddamn, it's a nail in my focus, right? It's a fucking crack. But the more I practice speaking and drawing and thinking and thinking and speaking and bars, yeah, anyways, the more I practice that, Jesus Christ. No, this channel is definitely gonna go to the shitter. Or it's already in the shitter thanks to my beautiful personality, but okay, I do believe I found. Okay, so I think I know what the vertical center line is, because again, it's the minor axis, right? So okay, so that is okay, there you go. And then the horizontal one is a bit more subtle. Okay, I think I understand this relatively well. Right, relatively well. The thing is, we have to remember that people's jaws, like this guy's jaw, is actually angled a little bit, right? But because of the perspective, because he's looking away, because I see the back of his head, I actually don't know if his jaw is going, it's parallel or if it's actually angled, right? Like let's say this is the back of his head. I don't know if this is his jaw or this is the jaw because I'm seeing it from this perspective, right? I'm seeing it from the back of his head. So, and because I don't know, like that angle now is uncertain. Is he tilting his jaw down? Is he tilting his jaw up? We're just gonna have to assume it's a straight jaw, but people's jaw angles do, for me, and I'm assuming in general this is pretty common, that they do get in the fucking way of understanding the perspective. But for the time being, we have a relative box. Now, because I held it so long there, I'm doing my best to hold that projection and now transfer it onto the page and visualize it on the page in my mind, a combination of both. But the point is, I'm trying to visualize it, right? And don't forget that trying to visualize and also trying to draw on top of the visualization, you know, like basically visualizing and then applying while thinking, right? Applying while visualizing is very difficult. It's incredibly difficult, right? It's actually like it's just extreme cognitive strain, right? And that's actually the discomfort that most people speak about, right? That's the discomfort that most people talk about when it comes to learning anything, but especially with drawing, when people are like, "Oh, my brain is fried," it's because there's a lot of thinking going on, right? Lots of thinking is occurring, and it's necessary. It's absolutely, it's paramount, is what it is, right? So right now my brain is in extreme discomfort, and I need to lean into that discomfort, which is while I'm doing this, I need to calculate this angle that I've set forth, right? Like this is the box, and I'll draw the box afterwards, like I did here, to showcase exactly what I'm doing my best to consistently hone and visualize in my mind. But right now calculations are occurring in my mind. What calculations? Well, first we're trying to have the box, right? We're trying to have the box, and we're referring to the reference to ensure that it is relatively accurate. What I'm doing with my fingers is I'm ghosting the X, Y, and Z axis. I'm ghosting this, essentially, right? Like that is what I'm ghosting. That's very extremely fucking shit rough depiction of what I'm constantly trying to ghost and see in my mind, but that is what I'm ghosting, right? And also at the same time, I'm not going to be ghosting in order to, because ghosting is like that, it's the conduit. No, it's not the conduit. What's the right word for this? Ghosting is the mediary? What's the word for saying it's the middle point? Whatever. I'm trying to be all fancy, but ghosting is the middle point between visualization and actually applying the line, right? Applying the line, you're applying the line. Ghosting is between applying the line and thinking about seeing that on the page. That's the way I think about it. That's the way I internalize it. If that makes sense, great. If it kind of makes sense, cool. If it doesn't, you just got to find a different way for it to make sense for you, right? Not everything I'm going to say is going to resonate with you. But again, like while I'm talking, I'm thinking consistently, right? And now okay, another calculation. What other calculation am I doing? So while I'm visualizing this extremely rough ghosting, I am also constantly trying to visualize this plane and then put the minor axis inside of it like this, because this, if we project outward onto the sphere, this is what's going to be the back, and it has to be in correct perspective. This is what's going to be the vertical center line of the sphere. So that's also another thing that I'm doing. And the thing is, like, it's easy to do when it's this small, but the larger your visualization has to be, the more cognitive energy it takes, right? Like simply the scope of your visualization, right? The scale of your visualization will have different levels of cognitive effort. This for me, because I haven't practiced this level of size nearly as much, right? Or like just for me, retaining this level of size is more difficult, which is why I'm drawing my faces large, you know, these portraits large, these helmets larger than I'm comfortable with, because what I would be comfortable with would be about 2/3 of this size, right? But we're not here to be comfortable, you know, and that's why fucking doing 2 reps clearly for the past 7 hours slash episodes of practice slash videos of practice, whatever, have taken like 2 reps only. Like it is fucking one for the sphere and like actually getting it down, and another one just for the helmet, right? So, but enough lollygagging, as the youngins say. I don't know if any youngins actually say that, but enough lollygagging. Okay, I think that's relatively accurate. It's actually kind of no, it's pretty inaccurate. And this is where I just forced myself to feel good because I made a huge error, and I'm pretty sure it's a pretty big error. But I feel as if, because we don't really see much of this left side at all, so this center line should have been even more off. And then now we have to look at, okay, so his eyes are here and his ears are here. Oh, so is this head tilted? I thought we were looking at the bottom of his, okay, we can see the bottom of his jaw, so this definitely is the bottom of his face. Like that has to be the box, right? Or maybe it isn't. Maybe I've been mistaken all along. Maybe this is the box, and of course I'm just using the space, sorry, not the space, Jesus Christ, I think maybe this is the box, actually. So this is already inaccurate then, because this would be the sphere, and then that would be the center line. Actually, no, that's still pretty decent, because... Wow, because I guess it doesn't change. No, it does change. I've just... See, I'm already, like, my brain's already hurting trying to figure this out. Also have to keep making sure the page is centered. So now I have to readjust and be like, okay, what is actually this box? Because if I look at his eye... Okay, we're seeing the top of his head. Oh, okay, I see. So... Okay, so this is the box. This is a top angle then. Okay, because he has eyes here and his ears like that, so it's clearly a more top angle. And I actually ended up doing this correctly, funny enough. It's still a bit off-center. Should have been way more to a decent amount more to the left, I do believe, but perhaps not actually. Because again, his hair is in the way. Don't forget, when people's hair gets in the way, that's also really difficult to distill them down to their absolute basic forms, right? But I do believe... Okay, see, like, so you notice how I just had to adjust immediately, and we went from thinking it's a bottom angle to realizing it's a top angle, right? Or, again, this could be wrong, is the beautiful part of it, is like... Could be wrong, but... I think that's pretty decent. And this is the back of his head, let's not forget. So, his ears... are like that. They're over here, right? His eye is over here. His nose is right around there. His lips and his jaw. It's kind of like this. Yeah, okay. Well, I see it now. Me drawing it actually makes me able to see it more. You know, Adam's apple, right? Back of the neck. It's not perfect, but yeah, okay, I see it a lot more now, right? Sternocleidomastoid indicator right there. But that... I do believe that makes sense. I obviously made this a lot more of a top angle than the actual reference is, but like that, I genuinely did. I think this is okay. But even this horizontal center line should have been a lot more subtle. Right, and let's not forget, to do all of that, it took me, what, 12, 13 minutes now? So, lots of errors. I'm very happy. I put a lot of effort into that. Okay, so now, here comes the actual difficult part. That wasn't even the difficult part. That was just the baseline level of difficulty. Now we have to hold this projection, the box, the sphere, and the center lines, horizontal and vertical. We have to hold that projection as accurately as we can. And I draw a helmet. Or a like hard surface helmet, right? See, this is actually cheating. I should probably not even, like, I should ignore that, because that's literally cheating, this right here. And it's actually wrong, so that's good, because that means I have to adjust it. But I have to hold the size of the sphere in my head as well. I'm just trying to think. Let's see. Because I'm trying to think about design now, right? Like, what shapes could be utilized for a decent design? And that's what it all comes down to. And again, like, these lines are actually fucking with me now, because, like, I'm obviously trying to think about, like, oh, what if I place something here, and what if it follows that? But at the end of the day, I have to ask the question, am I in extreme cognitive discomfort? The answer is no. So now I'm going to recalibrate and be like, okay, visualize that fucking box, visualize that sphere to the best of your ability. This is really difficult, by the way. This is really fucking hurting my brain. This is exactly where you want to be. Okay, visualize the box, visualize the sphere, right? Try to get the proportion down as accurately as you can. And again, like, my big goal right now is just be able to constantly visualize the box, the sphere, and the contour lines inside of it. Like, that's the main thing for me. Once I can do that, and it's basically second nature, which is gonna take at least what the fuck? at least another 20 hours, I'd like to think, minimum, right? To even get halfway decent at visualizing it. Because it's so fucking... Because again, a spherical shape is extremely difficult to visualize, at least for me. I think maybe in general, people would agree that it's pretty difficult, because spherical shapes, elliptical shapes in general, have to be placed inside boxes or planes, right? So that already adds a level of difficulty that one doesn't expect, or that one has to account for when it comes to creating the logic behind it. But okay, let me try thinking about an earpiece type shape. Let me, okay, like I'm just trying to think in terms of like, okay, cutout maybe, right? And I do understand and I do agree with the notion. If anybody has that notion, I'll say I agree right now. Like, yeah, I have a lot of difficulty coming up with these shapes. Like a lot of difficulty figuring things out. But this is where I have to think. Right? This is genuinely just where I have to think. Okay, the box, the sphere has to go around. Let's see. Oof, this is very difficult. I feel as if I've already kind of fucked the perspective up a little bit, but let's see, because like designing, don't forget, I have to hold the box, the sphere, and the center lines inside the sphere. Like, I have to hold all of those in my head and on the page, whatever, like however I visualize. I have to hold all of that and I have to design on top of it. And designing isn't just, oh, I'm just gonna add some random shapes. So it's like, let me think about the motif as this, the motif, as in, you know, what are some shapes? How can they connect? Right? What am I exactly doing here? Because again, I can look at references all I want, but when it comes down to it right now, like me just trying to think, being like, what can I think of? God, it's fucking difficult. Okay, so like I tried making something there. Let me just close that off, I guess. It's so hard. It's so fucking hard, but this is where it's worth it. Right? Being hard is being alive. Now let me think. Okay, yeah, I'm just thinking right now. I'm gonna keep my pen. I'm gonna keep wiggling my pen here, so anybody watching is entertained. Even though you're a fucking idiot if you're being entertained by this, you should be drawing along. Highly encouraged, highly encouraged to draw along. And hopefully, me constantly saying visualize, visualize, visualize is helping remind you, oh, I should visualize, visualize, visualize. Right? Like I'll try to be as helpful as possible. This is the back of the head too, so we have to think what kind of design. Let me see. Something like that. There you go. Okay, so at least I managed to close it off. Decent amount. And again, go back to visualize. See, like I've completely lost the perspective. But like while I say that, I'm genuinely trying my fucking hardest to get it back. I'm telling you right now, like I'm trying so fucking hard to get it back. But it takes time. It takes a lot of time. Let's see. And I guess I can... Like, I want to find that balance between... like adding details, obviously adding details that make it seem like, oh wow, this is complex, this is technical, but trying to keep it as simple to the point where it's like, oh, okay, well, I can still keep my general idea of the perspective in check, right? Like that is the whole point. But at the same time, it's a great way for me to practice my fine lines, right? So yeah, I mean it's all just a learning journey. There you go. Okay, so I think we got the back of the head. I still want to make it a little bit bigger, obviously, right? see, something like... How does this look like on the opposite side? That's the big question. Anybody ever watched the fucking I Became the Seventh Prince so I could obsess over magic anime? Right? Technically an isekai, but really not really at all. Right? Fucking amazing. Really good show. Surprisingly. Like, I don't like the fucking main character's design though. I just hate fan service now in anime. I'm so fucking tired of it. Right? As a horny 15-year-old, I'd be like, oh yeah, give me them fucking anti-gravity defying titties. But now I'm just like, bruh, it looks so fucking stupid. Right, I can't do it anymore. I just can't jerk off to it, you know? And if I can't jerk off to it, then clearly it has no value for me. So, okay, so what else do I have? Let's add... I want to think about some shape that would seem kind of... Because look, I think I've gotten generally the shape down. Right, but we still have to think about the sphere. I feel as if I definitely changed the perspective up a bit too much. But it's very difficult. So this is, again, like, this is the thinking part, right? Look at that. It's been 21 minutes. I'm going to take my time. This is probably going to take till the half an hour mark. I'm telling you right now, I really, really want to take my time. So what am I thinking about? I'm thinking about how this could connect. Am I in extreme discomfort? No. Okay, so let's recalibrate again. Put the box, put the sphere inside the box. We have to account for this new sphere that I've created. Or maybe I just have to extend. Like so, right? I think I've fucked up the perspective a little, but okay, so that's the sphere, right? No, see? Okay, so that's incorrect. Maybe I could just do something like this to make it seem as if it was intentional. Right, but no, this is definitely huge mistakes have been made, and like that part's bigger than this part now, so I have to do something to figure that out. Let's see, I'm just trying to think. And then this goes down. This goes. Okay. Nah, see, oh man, I fucked it up so badly. I mean, I say it in like a, oh, I'm so sad kind of way, but it feels good because now I know like how badly I fucked it up. See, it was going well. I'm not gonna say, I'm not gonna deny being like, damn, that doesn't suck, but it was going well, and now I made a huge error. So we just have to go with that. Wrapping shapes around this is extremely difficult. Let's see, so maybe something like this. Right? It's connected. And then what is happening here? Okay, what is happening here? See, maybe it's like cut out like that. Dude, I'm losing the sphere so much. I've completely lost it. It's so bad. Completely lost it. But let's at least keep trying. Try to add like little cutouts here. Am I in extreme discomfort? No, let's recalibrate. How the fuck am I supposed to end this? Like that? Something like that. right? This doesn't look good. I think we can all agree that this looks completely fucking nonsensical. And what can I do with this shape? So it's gonna go over this. Okay, and then this is the edge of the sphere. Okay, see, like dude, I fucked that up so badly. Okay, good. See, I took a moment to just feel good about it. Up and takes until 30 minutes my ass. Well, once I fucked this side up, I just couldn't see or think properly. And because this was extremely difficult, we're gonna do this angle again. We're gonna just do this angle again. There's no way around it. Right? I don't know, I'm just confused. I think this, I mean, to be honest, there's no point even being like, oh, why didn't it work out? It didn't work out because I'm not skilled enough. Simple as that. But clearly the biggest trouble was just the ability to visualize and hold the visualization of the sphere while I was drawing shapes around it. So again, I need to really, really, really focus on that, right? Because this doesn't make sense at all. What I did here was sheerly through really shitty intuition, which is not what we want. And again, my lines are so broken and unconfident, right? Like that actually looks like ass. Like it literally looks like fucking doo-doo. Which is a good thing. Again, don't forget, like, I mean, I say it like that, but it is a really good thing because it shows me my weaknesses, right? Like I did not think ahead at all. And the shapes I've been making have been really poor. Partly due to my lines, partly due to my actual shapes themselves, right? So, good opportunity. Okay, I'm gonna rest my brain and then we're gonna go at it again. Exact same angle, and again, I'm gonna try to get this down. I'm gonna keep trying to get this down. Complexity of shape wrapping. Yeah, shape wrapping complex shapes and trying to connect them around a sphere is the goal, right? Visualizing that properly. So let me rest my brain again, and yeah, I encourage you to do so as well. Okay, wonderful. And there's a reason I keep telling myself it's a good thing that it looks disgusting. Like, even though when I say that shit, because again, when you attach dopamine, when you feel good about mistakes, your brain actually expedites the learning process towards that error. This was a giant fucking middle finger to when it came to like trying to do something well or like whatever, right? But it is an error nonetheless. And that's what we need to keep in mind. And again, I need to, oh, by the way, this is like clearly, well, it's probably clear to me, so I do apologize. I'm not trying to make it seem like, oh yes, of course. But this is the box I'm trying to visualize, right? Like this is actually what I believe it ended up being, like the reference. Like this is the box it's encapsulated in. When I look at it closer now, I feel as if this top angle is a bit more narrow, like this. Right? Nowhere near as it's a small difference, but this is this plane has a wider degree than this one, right? Like this is much narrower and we can't see as much. So that's what I'm going to try to hold in my mind again as I draw this, right? And it's just sheer repetition, guys. Sheer repetition. You always just want to make as many fucking reps, as many mistakes as possible, because that's the only way you're going to learn is through sheer repetition, right? Intentional repetitions, by the way. Not just repetitions where you're just dicking around. Those aren't repetitions. You might as well just call that fucking around, right? Those aren't reps. Those, objectively speaking, those are not repetitions. A repetition where you're not at least trying to think and apply, that's not a repetition. That's just me fucking around. And I say that completely holding myself accountable and saying there were about 20% of instances here where I wasn't thinking and I was just fucking around, right? But this looking like ass is the first step to the next 50 things I make looking not so ass, right? So let's continue onwards. Again, trying to hold that box in my head, trying to see the plane for what it is, right? It's clearly more off to this side, so that's what I'm gonna focus on. right? There you go. That's a bit more accurate. Not super accurate in terms of the sphere, because the sphere I drew wasn't even a good sphere, but that's definitely way more accurate. And now regarding the middle, again, it's just and it's actually a bit curved. Actually, this box is a bit curved, so it's actually a bit tilted. So it's like this. Right? Yeah, that's a lot better. Yeah, that's a lot better. That's actually much more accurate. Even though the sphere is incorrect, in terms of just being a good sphere, like a symmetrical sphere, the placement of the center lines, definitely from what I can tell, are a lot more accurate. And again, the ear is right around here. Right, that's the ear. Okay, see, like this is much more accurate. There's the fucking eyelash, whatever. The cheek, right? The nose. Nose is actually much larger. This man has a quite the nose. Right, the lips, and then the jaw, like so. Right, and then the neck, or Adam's apple. Right, so that's actually a decent amount more accurate, to be honest. Again, nothing crazy about the proportions being super accurate or whatever the fuck, but yeah, the head, its center line, and how it's oriented is more important, of course. So now, maybe like that happened a lot faster, and it's only been 31 minutes. Maybe I'll be able to do 3 repetitions today, but it's not about the amount, it's about the quality, right? Again, like Huberman, and if you search up like how to learn skills faster using failures, movement, momentum, some shit like that, using errors, failures, something like that. It's just how to learn skills faster. Go the essentials version, because you probably don't have the fucking attention span to watch the entire 2-hour, 3-hour thing. So this one's 30, 40 minutes. Perfect for you retards out there, right? So, what's it called? So, how I think about it in terms of errors is the fact that me not holding the perspective, like everything is an error. Everything that I'm trying to do and I don't do, or I don't do it well, or I don't do consistently, or don't do to the effect of permanence, right, in my mind or on the page or in lines, is an error. So that gives me incredible amounts of liberty when it comes to just fucking boosting my neuroplasticity. This is maybe very bro science, who knows? But whatever. The point is, we know making lots of failures and errors, and during what is it, like 7 to 30 minute period of time is incredible for neuroplasticity, right? And like learning, expediting learning, errors. Learning and yeah, neuroplasticity, whatever the fuck. So I think about it like if I just consider everything I do to be a mistake, even though I'm not trying to do it, right? Like if I consider the fact that I couldn't hold the perspective for more than 2 seconds here in error, boom, feel good. If I just consider the fact that I couldn't put the sphere inside the box for more than like a couple times, boom, error. So it's like every attempt is a repetition, and every failed attempt is now an error, right? And I don't know, I feel as if like that works for me in the sense that like trying to min-max neuroplasticity, I guess, but like that I just made like fucking 10 errors because I tried holding the box in my head and I couldn't, right? So, and it's a tilted box. Now I know it's a slightly tilted box, right? And his neck gives a nice little indication of that. Again, his little sternocleidomastoid indicator muscle right here, right? His SCM. You know, there's his little fucking back of his ear. His jaw probably goes up further than that. No, actually, yeah, it's a bit further. Whatever, it's like that. But whatever. No, none of that matters, of course. But let's think. Let's think. So I need to hold this. Oh, look, an error because I couldn't hold it, even though I just said I need to hold it. So I need to be in extreme discomfort, right? I need to be in extreme discomfort. I need to hold this as best as possible, and we need to try again, right? We need to try again, and let's see what we can come up with this time. Well, first I need to think about the okay, so obviously before I even just start drawing, I need to hold this shape in my head as much as possible. I need to hold the box, I need to hold the sphere, I need to hold the center lines, right? That's really important. Now, while I do my best to hold that, and I just made 5 errors trying to hold it, right? While I make as many attempts to try to hold that as much as possible in my head, I need to start thinking about what do I want the shapes around this to be wrapped like, right? What do I want the shapes around this to be wrapped like? I think I just got a relative idea of what I want to be wrapped like. So now I have to think, well, what do I want the wrappings themselves to be, right? And I just made another mistake because I fucked up the horizontal center line in my mind, right? So it's like, what do I want that to be? And again, I lost the box. So what type of wrapping do I want it to be? Do I want it to be compartmentalized? What additions, subtractions, etc. do I want on that? Do you see how this is extremely difficult? There's easily eight things floating around in my head when it comes to thinking and designing and perspective and form, and even the designing is all based on perspective and form and wrapping around the sphere, which is inside a box and has center lines, horizontal and vertical, right? I keep saying it over and over, not only just to kind of consistently remind those listening, drawing along, watching, whatever, that, oh, holy shit, this is just a constant effort of like very, very, very difficult skills such as spatial reasoning. And to also, he's talking while doing this. That must also be incredibly fucking difficult. The answer is yes, right? But I'd say this not only for you, but for me as well, right? Because it's a skill at the end of the day. You know, I need to be able to remind myself how much I'm thinking and what I'm thinking of. And I'm in extreme cognitive discomfort while I'm doing this. Like, I actually am in extreme cognitive discomfort, right? Which is good, which is really good, which is exactly what I want. You know, I want this discomfort. I need this discomfort, because without this discomfort, there's no learning happening at all, right? So let's see. And again, like, I need to hold that sphere, the size of that sphere in my head. Oof, now that is difficult. This is probably the first time I've really tried to hold that sphere in my head. And this is where the ghosting comes into play, right? Like, this is genuinely where the ghosting is really coming to play. So, and again, I just fucked up the perspective again. Okay, see, like, now the sphere, I'm trying to hold the sphere. I'm trying to hold the center line. I'm trying to like actively think about the logic behind the center line while I'm thinking about the perspective, and that's also very difficult, because while I'm thinking about the logic of the center line and how it's oriented, I also have to think about how it's wrapping around the sphere, which has to have a consistent size to it, which I also have to visualize, right? So, pee pee poo poo, very fucking hard. That's really killing my brain, and now I'm extremely happy, because my only metric that I ever hold myself accountable by is just how hard am I trying, right? So I'm gonna be silent just for like 10 seconds while I think about this a little bit more, but there you go. Let's try to see. I already fucked it up because it's not nowhere near as subtle as it needs to be, but and that was like really bad. But okay, at least I've established a little bit of the sphere, right? So now we just need to hold up. I need to think. So if this is wrapping around, yeah, if this is wrapping around, then let's do something like this. Right, same thing here. Okay, so it's not perfect, but this is just for me, right? If this is wrapping around, and I know now, there you go. That's pretty inaccurate, but okay, see, like, I made quite a few mistakes here, but we just gotta keep going. Okay, so this is wrapping around, and this right here is okay. Now I just have to think in terms of am I in extreme discomfort? No. Okay, so take a step back again, right? Be like, okay, let's visualize that sphere again and the center line and the okay. So I've already fucked this up immensely. I'll say that much, right? Because while the horizontal center line isn't too abysmal, right? The vertical center line is completely off. It's here now, you see? I made the vertical center line here. So it's completely off, right? Completely off. But we still have to commit, obviously, because that's really all we can do. So we have to think now. as to how at least we can design this decently well. Like, we have to contemplate that at the very least, right? Whether it works out or not, I do have to think about it. Okay, so let's see. Maybe I can add some sort of abstraction there, right? Abstraction, doesn't really know what that means. What I meant is a cutout. Ignore me. It's fucking hard as shit to think right now. But maybe let's see, something like right. Just kind of wrapping around. And clearly I want it to be more accurate, so we can close this as well, maybe. Okay, so that's at least wrapping is occurring. At least some sort of form wrapping is occurring. That I can be proud of. That I can say, like, okay, but again, am I in extreme discomfort? No, so I need to think again as to what, because obviously the perspective has changed. The perspective has just objectively, it's changed. The ear was here, now the ear is like over here, right? At least I understand that now, which is still a plus, right? But it's clear to me. And you know the fucking hilarious part is it always comes down to how ass my lines are. Like, always it comes down to my lines. Like, almost inevitably, it just seems to always be my lines which are holding me back. Apart from my understanding, of course, which is just kind of obvious that my understanding is subpar. Let's see, and then we have maybe something like that. Okay, and obviously I need this to wrap around properly as well, right? Okay, so it's been 42 minutes. I think after this, I'm just gonna ignore this and just try doing this again, but over here, like a second one. So this will be, it'll be like 41.5 or something, right? So and I'm just trying to think like what sort of cutout I could have here. Just trying to think. Maybe not a cutout, but an addition, clearly. Right? So this is the back, and we need these to connect appropriately. And this is where obviously my line work is gonna need to be relatively decent. Because this is wrapped around a sphere still. So far, it's okay. So far, I can actually like still say this is looking kind of decent. And things do kind of make a little bit of sense. And we can even connect that. Connect that. Right? It looks okay. Lines are obviously still subpar. That's just something you have to accept. So now I'm just trying to think, like, if clearly the box has changed quite a bit, right? Quite a bit the box has changed. And obviously this horizontal center line is very subpar and mediocre. So now I obviously need to readjust what it is I'm thinking and like how I think it's going to be working. But at the end of the day, I also got to figure out like how I'm going to connect these. So what could this be? Because this still has an opportunity to be connecting to something else. So I just have to think, well, maybe this is just a larger ellipse. Right, just a larger ellipse. We don't have to complicate it. too much with the or cylinder, sorry, with the cutout. And now, is that connected anywhere? Is the real question. Well, perhaps, and this is like my whole what if shit coming out again, right? Perhaps, or what if, you know, what if is just what I tell myself in order to try to make sense of maybe what I could add next. If I just try to follow this contour, and I could make it like this. There you go. Ta-da! So that's the back. And we just need to finish the sphere now. And maybe something like this, right? Well, didn't really work out. And again, like my lines are not the best, but I'm just trying to think. Because I got the perspective wrong there, and my lines were ass here now. But now I just have to think, like, okay, like what could this bottom part be? Well, it doesn't have to be anything, right? Not bad. It's definitely a better attempt, for sure, compared to that, but some things still don't make sense, like this. How is this connected? Well, I could just connect it like that, right? Something like that. Maybe that makes sense. You know, we could add more form indications here to showcase that this is in fact three-dimensional, right? Maybe, I know I've seen this a lot in concept art, where they'll just add little elliptical cutouts, right? To be like, oh, mechanical, it's mechanical, right? I've seen a lot of this. Okay, so this is obviously where recall is a huge part. Like I've seen a lot of just, you know, kind of these little gratings, repeated lines, right? Look at that, another mechanical element, woohoo, right? Even something like maybe something like this. Right? To showcase, hey, it's mechanical. Right? But okay, so it's not bad. This is definitely my best attempt at holding the sphere. Okay, design, you know, just I think this is my best attempt at holding the sphere in my mind with the box. Okay, not in terms of like accuracy, because clearly, right? Like clearly not in terms of accuracy, but I think in terms of holding the sphere and trying to design something over it, even though like everything changed, like after I fucked up the vertical center line, right? Just holding it and like actually being able to design, you know, form wrap around it essentially. I think this is probably my best attempt yet. So that was great. I'm gonna rest my brain and we're just gonna do it again. We're gonna try to get it right this time with this. And again, we're gonna keep trying to figure out our process, keep trying to recall as best as we can to the references that we've looked at, like helmet design references, concept art references. Right, so, but let me rest my brain, okay? And I encourage you to do so as well. This was, see, now I'm proud of myself. And the thing is, like, I'm never not proud of myself, but the times where I really am, like, genuinely proud of myself always comes down to, how much effort I put in and, like, just how much my brain really hurts. My brain was hurting a decent fucking amount. It can't even speak, but a decent amount. Right, so we're just gonna try to have that again and really push into discomfort. And then I'm gonna play piano after I'm done this quote unquote episode video, and then I'll come back and draw another hour. So be right back. I encourage you to rest your brain as well. Ah, delicious water. Okay, so let's do it again. right? And let's get, okay, so clearly the box I was thinking about here is, again, very, very subtle, even more subtle than that one, right? So it's like this. This is clearly, clearly? I can't speak clearly, Okay, I can't speak that well. But it has a bit of an angle, and you don't see the top as much. So that's generally the box I was seeing in my mind, and that's generally the box that I believe this reference, right, this portrait reference I'm looking at, this individual, is comprised of. So we'll just make this rep 41.5, I guess. I do think I need to get a new pen. Do I? Let's see. It's definitely running out. Like, it's definitely running out. 40.5, no, 41.5. There you go. Giant ass point there. But either way, let's try again. Let's try again. Right? Okay, so yeah, let's hold that box as much as we can in our head. Right? That actually helped a lot. Maybe it's cheating, maybe it isn't, but that did help at least solidify what I was already thinking, or what I believe I should have been thinking, right? But I think definitely the most difficult part is holding a perfect sphere in our head. Like, that's actually the most difficult. I've kind of been able to fraud it with all the drawings I've done so far. I'll be honest, like, all of these, it's all been frauded technically, because they've just been kind of generally wrapping around it, and some have worked a bit better than others. But to like actually like this one, see, like that was the only time I really tried to do it. But even then, you can see there was huge errors there. But let's see. I mean, I've never really, again, this is a fun exercise because this is the back of the head, right? And I feel as if I got the design down pretty decently, because this does look like the back of a helmet and not the front of a helmet, to me. Like, it looks like shit going on in the back. But either way, we need to, oh, see, error again, because I couldn't hold it properly in my head. But we need to, yeah, we need to hold this properly. And okay, I definitely need to start designing generally around it. So first I need to think, while I try to hold this box, the sphere, and then the center lines, horizontal and vertical, inside the sphere, inside the box, in my head, or on the page, like combination of, while I think of that, which is already extremely difficult, is basically taking about like 70 to 80% of my cognitive energy, I also need to think about what shapes I want to be wrapping around this, right? What shapes do we want wrapping around this sphere in a particular perspective, which is extremely difficult to think about, right? With a specific center line that's more off to the left side from my perspective, right? Very subtle, top down, horizontal perspective, very subtle, right? And inside a box. What do I want the shapes to look like? I already did this, so I gotta have a different type of shape design now. Do I want something more angular rather than spherical? You know, do I want like these to kind of quote unquote fraud, but to keep that sphere in my mind, but to be able to have more sharp edges around the sphere, right? What is it that I want? Well, I know for sure then maybe I want something like this, right? Oh, this is so difficult. Okay, obviously I can't really explain myself. Okay, I want some sort of hinge connection at the bottom here. Like I did in the middle here, I want it at the bottom now. So I do want, oh, my head keeps fucking tapping the goddamn camera, man. Which is my phone, my bald head. Because I shaved my head, I'm bald. This is inside. It doesn't have anything to do with anything. But, and by the time I do a face reveal at 500,000 million subscribers, I won't be bald. I'll probably have short hair, but not bald hair, which is an oxymoron possibly. But okay, see, like again, am I in extreme discomfort? Yes, but no, because this is so difficult. Oh god, this is fucking hurting my brain. The box. Okay, so while I have this, I need to stop fucking my forehead needs to stop tapping this goddamn camera on my phone. Okay, but anyways, while I have this, right, how do I want these shapes to be defined? Maybe just something as simple as, okay, now this is where I get to define. There you go. Just with this, I've essentially, hopefully, right, hopefully defined my center line. right? And this was unfortunately done off intuition, like the opposite angle. So that could be a lot more different. This could be a lot more, what's it called, pronounced. I should have calculated it before I did it, but it's already so difficult to just hold this goddamn box sphere and center lines in my head that I hope you'll forgive me, right? But there you go. Try something like this. Little spheres connecting. And the reason I like to add fine details, I mean, I hope it's obvious at this point, but I really do like working on my line quality. And right now, line quality just means thin, clear, consistent lines. That's really all I mean. Like, I don't mean anything spectacular, because I can't create anything spectacular. You know, it's really nothing impressive what I'm able to do. But let's see. So how does this wrap around? Now that's the question I have to ask myself, right? Like, how does this wrap around this sphere? Like, do I have this sphere in my head? Actually, no, because I lost the entire perspective. So like, we have to think now, like, what kind of sphere do we even have? Because this has set the precedent, right? So it's quite a large sphere now that I think about it. There you go. I think that made it a little bit easier, right? Hopefully that made it a little bit easier to visualize, right? At least for me. Hey, dude, can I stop tapping the goddamn camera with my head, please? Jesus Christ. But it's like, okay, what shapes do I want now, right? So because, like a cheeky cunt, I didn't exactly establish. Hold up. There you go. Because I didn't establish with those lines what it is that I was doing. What if I do something like this? Okay, like that's the sphere. It's going around. Something like that. Is that has to look like something, right? In terms of, and even something like this can hopefully, again, that's for my own line quality's sake, but let's see if that does anything. Okay, I lost the sphere completely, so we need to obviously take a step back, and there you go. Okay, I think I got it back again. I think I did get it back. Right. Oof. Okay, no. Like, okay, take a step back, right? Let's see. Am I in extreme cognitive discomfort? No. So I need to see the box, see the sphere inside the box, which is me really trying to see the sphere. Okay, I think I see it now. There you go. And then see the center line vertical and the center line horizontal. Okay, so I've done okay. And to there you go. Let's re-establish these center lines. Nope, I fucked it up. That's amazing. So close, but I fucked it up again. And I completely changed the perspective. This was correct. This line should have been way lower. I had it, but now I can't change it anymore, right? So we'll just have to go with it. That's life. That is life. You see, just all it takes is one instance. It genuinely just took one instance of me not paying attention to completely get the perspective wrong. And again, telling myself I feel good, because I do. That is pretty good. The fact that I fucked it up to that degree is actually impressive. And then now we can just have something like this. There you go. I'm just gonna do the same thing on this side. And again, you'll see like, wow, his lines really are unconfident as fuck. And it's true, they are unconfident. Like, I'm still glad that I don't scritch, because that is obviously like really unconfident. I'm proud of myself that I don't do that, right? But I have a lot of other tendencies that could use a lot of work, right? A lot of other tendencies, for sure. So, this is just my attempt at hopefully slowly working on removing them, right? Let's see. There you go. I'm trying to hold that sphere in my head as much as possible. It's probably not even perfect, and I think there's still a lot of mistakes, but again, I feel as if like these are my best attempts so far, just in terms of trying to really think purely in terms of, okay, like there are shapes, try to have shapes that make sense, right? Try not to rush, try to make sense of everything before you just go ahead. And I will say, like, I guess to toot my own horn, even though I did fuck up the perspective again, right? Now it's like this. Like if this, yeah. I mean, hopefully you can tell that it's a lot more of a top angle, like a lot more of a top angle. Because I could have fixed it here, but I didn't. And there's still lots of mistakes that have been made, but hopefully you can tell that this is definitely my best attempt yet in terms of form wrapping. You know. And hey, if this is where the eye is, why don't I just, there you go. Nice little shout out to the eye, because that's where the eye is going to be, right? It's wrapping around. It's wrapping around like that. But no, it's not wrapping around all the way, it stops there. So, okay, so what do I want for the top of this helmet? Right, what other interesting shapes can we think of? Well, like I can think of, it's super vague. I'm telling you right now, it's like super vague. Because again, am I in extreme discomfort? No, I still need the box. I need the sphere inside the box. Obviously, this part of the sphere I haven't completed, and that's on purpose. But I still need the sphere. Still need the center line. Still need the horizontal line. Oh, sorry. Still need the vertical center line. I still need the horizontal center line. So then it just comes down to, okay, like what are we trying to do? So maybe. I could do something like this, right? And how would that go through? Oh, fucking tapping my damn head. I'm sorry, I keep tapping my damn head on my phone. And I love how, as I said, I did it again. But let's see. So we could have this be. Okay, so that's not bad. Nothing incredible, but definitely isn't bad. Okay, so like that connects there, I guess. And then I just need to think like, okay, well, what kind of shit? This is clearly I'm gonna have this taper because I don't want this to be anything too annoying. I'm just gonna keep tapering it. And then we're gonna have it come down like so. And that other side, there you go. So we'll just do the same thing here. Again, we need to think about the logic. The other side obviously also has a taper. This is where obviously fine lines come about, but you know what, that looks okay. that doesn't look bad. Doesn't look great, but doesn't look bad. And again, I guess like for design motif purposes, we could actually have this be a section that is also I guess sanctioned off. Nope, didn't mean to do that. We'll have to leave it. That was an accident. Oh fuck, what do I do with this now? Yeah, whatever, we'll just... There you go. Damn it, that was a mistake. It would have looked a lot better if I left it as it is. Okay, still kind of made it work somehow. This looks like fucking AI. Zero comprehension, zero understanding. It's okay. It's what it is. I want to do something here, but I guess I'll just leave it. Yeah, you know what? White space is good. So we'll just do this. Right? And then if we were to, on the other side, something like that. Nope, that's incorrect. Fuck. Okay, you know what? Just leave it. I clearly can't think in perspective anymore. But I was in extreme discomfort. I will say I was in extreme discomfort. And I think I'm getting slowly better. But to be completely honest, like holding that sphere was maybe 30% of what I was actually doing. It was just really hard to see it at all times. But I think I'm getting slowly better. I think form wrapping shapes around that sphere is actually a great first step. We probably need to make it more simple. Not in the sense that like this is good. I like what I'm doing here. I think simple in the sense that like this was all too much now that I look at it. I feel as if getting that sphere, just getting that sphere and wrapping shapes around that sphere is the first step, like the first genuine step, because like that means I can hold a box, a sphere inside a box, and then center lines like horizontal and vertical inside the sphere, inside the box, right? So we have 9 reps left. I don't know if I'll be able to accomplish the sort of proficiency I'm looking for in 9 reps. So I'll probably do the 50 reps and then I might just do like a bunch more, completely foregoing my original 50 rep rule, right? The 50 rep rule basically is after 50 reps, do I understand it? Yes or no? If no, if yes, move on to the next exercise in the artwod section that I'm on, whatever. And then if no, yeah, like if no, just, what the fuck am I trying to say? Yeah, if not, then do it. But actually, like when I think about it, because the next exercise is actually just to take the portrait reference and then just put it inside a box. So I might just move on, put it inside a box, and then continue to just do this for the helmet, because it's like, okay, now I'm really, because the box is already there, it kind of makes things easier because I can think about the box and then think about the sphere inside that and then think about the shapes on top of it. I think I can still do this. It's just this is going to be a box rather than a sphere, because this is actually harder technically. I don't think they realized it, but they made it harder first and then easier almost. But maybe this is all conjecture. Maybe when I do it I'll be like, oh, this is equally as hard. But I think at the end of the day I'll do my 50 reps and then I'll just keep going. But yeah, this was great. This was a great fucking session. I'll be back obviously in about an hour and a half, right? For anybody watching or listening, it'll be X amount of days or the next day, depending on my scheduling. And like depending how these videos follow my schedule and when they land. But with that being said, I hope you put a lot of effort in. I hope you really fucking tried just like I did, right? Because trying is all we can do. And you enjoyed the effort and you made lots of fucking mistakes just like I did. And as always, fuck you for watching. Keep drawing and please give me money.